Whenever my mom is trying to get me to do something I normally wouldn't want, she has something that she likes to say, and that is, life is full of sacrifice. It's one of those things that lingers, forcing you to ask yourself, what am I willing to let go? Growing up, I thought that my sacrifice would have to be my dreams. Because the reality for a lot of African creatives is our desire to create often means choosing a life of struggle. A life where success is seen as 1 in a million, accidental, or even unintended. But let's take a step back. Look around you. The clothes you're wearing, the seats you're on, the design of this very stage. The reality is that creativity is everywhere. And it's time for us to stop putting it at the back seat. In a world where the role of doctors, lawyers, or even engineers is never questioned, creatives are always asked, what's your backup plan? What are you going to do once this fails? But let's take a moment to think about fire. A single spark can seem insignificant, something not to worry about entirely. But if given the right conditions, that being fire, that being space, oxygen, and room for it to grow, it can turn into something unstoppable. I think creativity is that same spark. And it's time for us to stop. And that's only possible if we nurture it instead of smothering it. Let's take a step back and think about the Renaissance. It wasn't just about paintings. It was a reset that birthed entire economies and fueled change all around the world. A study done by UNICEF concluded that the creative industry contributes about $2.25 trillion to the world's GDP every single year. That same creative economy employs about 30 million people worldwide. Let's bring it closer to home. Nollywood, Nigeria's film industry, makes about, on average, 2,500 films every single year. Of those 2,500 films, $7 billion is put into Nigeria's economy. And it's not just about movies, fashion too. This year alone, about $15.5 billion is expected to be put in as a result of the fashion industry. And it's not just those two as well. It's music as well. In Africa, genres like Amapiano and Afrobeats have led to $1 billion worth of record deals and numerous amounts of concerts and festivals with all eyes on Africa. So again, I'll ask you the same question I asked before. In a world where the role of doctors or creatives, the role of doctors or engineers is never questioned, why is it that creatives are told that their work is secondary, a luxury rather than a necessity? A study done by the World Bank concluded that countries that contribute about 1% of their GDP into the creative industry can see about a 5% return over 10 years. That's not a bad trade-off for something that's just a hobby, right? And now to creatives. I think the blame, it doesn't only go on society and the place and the people around us. We need to stop romanticizing struggle. And what that means is valuing your intellectual property, building sustainable ecosystems for not only you, but the people around you, and setting plans in place for your creativity to be sustainable. Now, we all know that the world that we live in and the world that we want is two different things. And it's not only on us. It's about asking yourself, what do you want to see and what role do you have to play? Creatives have a huge role, the same way they did in the Renaissance. We have the possibility to birth entire economies and reshape the way the world is. and it needs all of us. But now, I want to make a promise to you all. And I want you all to also join me in that same promise. Just like I'm sure a lot of you might agree that the world that you live in and the world that you want to live in is two different things. Let's help shape the future. If it's not for you, it's for your kids. And if it's not for them, it's for their kids. That means thinking about creativity and giving it the driver's seat. And now I'll leave you with this. The same way fire needs oxygen to burn, creativity needs belief to grow. And the choice is ours. Do we extinguish it, or do we let it set the world ablaze? Thank you.